Sometimes the brave thing is admitting something isn't working. Single dad's carpool becomes safe haven. What happens when a divorced dad, terrified of failing his daughter, accidentally creates the most honest space kids have ever known inside a minivan? This is the story of Ethan Parker, a man who thought he was just driving kids to school. Instead, he built a community where a grieving boy found his voice, a shy immigrant girl discovered confidence, and children taught adults how to truly listen. If you've ever felt disconnected from someone you love, if you've ever wondered whether showing up is enough, this story will remind you that the smallest moments create the deepest bonds. Before we begin, please hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a story that might change how you see the world. Drop a comment below telling us about a time someone created a safe space for you. And if this story touches your heart, give it a like. Now let's get into the car. The silence in Ethan Parker's Honda Pilot was so thick he could almost taste it, metallic, uncomfortable, like pennies on his tongue. Monday morning, week 1. Day 1 really of having Maya full-time during the school week. The divorce papers had been finalized for 6 months now, but this was different. This was the new custody schedule taking effect. This was real. Ethan's hands gripped the steering wheel at 10 and 2 textbook perfect, as if proper hand placement could somehow make him a better father. In the rearview mirror, Maya sat in the back seat, her small frame pressed against the door, staring out the window at the suburban Connecticut landscape rolling past. Houses with perfect lawns. Families are still intact inside them, probably. He cleared his throat. So, Ethan started, then stopped. Started again. How'd you sleep? Maya's eyes didn't leave the window. Fine. Good, that's good. He nodded as if she could see him nodding. Good sleeping is good. Good sleeping is good. What are you, a caveman? More silence, the kind that makes you aware of every small sound, the hum of the engine, the whisper of tires on asphalt, the distant murmur of the radio he'd forgotten he'd turned on. Some morning show host laughing about something. He reached forward and turned the volume up slightly. Pop music filled the space. A song about summer and beaches and carefree things. You like this song? Ethan asked too eagerly. It's okay? Yeah, it's okay. He bobbed his head slightly to the beat, feeling ridiculous. He'd never liked this kind of music. Maya probably knew that. He changed the station. News crackled through the speakers. Tensions rising in the Middle East as diplomats scrambled to, oops. Ethan fumbled with the dial. Too heavy for morning. Another station, sports radio. And the Patriots are looking at a tough season after last night's devastating loss. The question everyone is asking is whether the coaching staff, do you like football? The question came out more desperately than he'd intended. Maya finally turned from the window, meeting his eyes in the mirror. Not really. Me neither, honestly. He turned the radio off completely. The silence returned heavier now. Judgmental. They were stopped at a red light. A mom in a Subaru next to them was singing along to something, her 2 kids in the back laughing. They looked so easy together, so natural. The light turned green. Dad? Ethan's heart lifted at the sound of her voice. Yeah. You can just ask me things, real things. You don't have to do small talk. He felt something in his chest loosen and tighten at the same time. Oh, okay. What should I ask? I don't know, whatever you actually want to know. Ethan took a breath. The school was 3 blocks away now. He could see the crossing guard ahead, the yellow buses lining up. Okay, he said, pulling into the drop-off lane. He put the car in park, even though the line was moving. Horns honked behind him. He didn't care. He turned around in his seat, facing his daughter fully. How are you? Like really, with everything. The divorce, the new schedule. Me clearly having no idea what I'm doing. Maya's eyes, so much like her mother's, softened. I'm okay. It's weird, but okay. She paused, then asked, how are you? The honesty in her voice nearly broke him. Honestly, I'm terrified I'm going to mess this up. You're already doing better than you think. Yeah. Maya reached for the door handle, then stopped. You asked. That's more than most parents do. She got out, shouldering her backpack. Leaned back in. Same time this afternoon. Yep, 3:15. Dad. She smiled, a real smile. Thanks for trying. Then she was gone, swallowed by the stream of children flowing toward the school entrance. Ethan sat there for a moment, cars honking around him, feeling like he'd just survived something important. The afternoon pickup was at 3:15, but Ethan arrived at 2:45. Better early than late, better anxious in a parking spot than anxious while speeding through school zones. He'd spent the day at work accomplishing exactly nothing. His marketing report sat untouched on his laptop. His boss had asked him a question during their Zoom meeting, and Ethan had realized mid-answer that he had no idea what the question had been. He'd mumbled something about synergy and brand positioning, and somehow that had been enough. But his mind had been elsewhere, in a car, in that silence, in the moment Maya had thanked him for trying. The lowest possible bar, and he'd barely cleared it. Now he sat in the carpool lane watching other parents. Most seemed so effortless. A dad reading the newspaper completely relaxed. A mom on a phone call laughing about something. They all looked like they knew what they were doing. Movement caught his eye. Another car pulling up, a Tesla with a confused-looking driver. The man, Indian, maybe late 30s, wearing a button-down shirt, slightly wrinkled from a day of Zoom calls, was craning his neck looking at the school entrance with the expression of someone who'd been teleported into the wrong dimension. Ethan rolled down his window. "Hey, you need help?" The man's face flooded with relief. "First day doing pickup. Usually my husband does this. I'm supposed to get Zara. Do you know a Zara? Patel Maya talks about her. She's in the same class." Thank God. The man pulled forward, parking next to Ethan. He got out, walked over. "I'm Ravi, by the way, Zara's dad." Ethan, Maya's dad. They shook hands through the window. "My husband Marcus is at a conference all week, and apparently I'm a disaster at school logistics." I barely remembered the pickup time. Ethan laughed, surprising himself. "I've been here since 2:45. So you're either very prepared or very anxious." "No, definitely the second one." Ravi grinning. "Well, it's nice to meet a fellow anxious dad. There should be a support group." An idea formed in Ethan's mind, the kind of idea that seemed reasonable in the moment, but might be insane upon reflection. He spoke before he could think better of it. "Hey, we live in Birchwood subdivision. I'm assuming you're nearby if Zara's at Pinewood. If you want, we could carpool. Share the load." Ravi's eyes widened. "That would be amazing. My Zoom meetings run long sometimes, and Marcus has a crazy travel schedule." Or Doran, "Are you sure, Bowen?" "Completely. I'll grab both girls today. You can get them tomorrow. We can figure out a rotation." "Done. You're a lifesaver." Ravi pulled out his phone. "Let me give you my number." They exchanged information just as the school doors opened and children began streaming out. Maya appeared first, walking with another girl, small with dark hair and two braids, talking animatedly. "That must be Zara." "Dad?" Maya jogged over her friend, keeping pace. "Can Zara come over?" "Actually, Ethan said Zara's dad and I just arranged a carpool, so you'll be seeing a lot more of each other." The girl Zara let out a sound that can only be described as a squeal of pure joy. "OMG, yes! This is the best day ever, Maya. This is the best. We can talk every day and plan stuff." And Zara breathed, Maya said, but she was smiling. "Sorry I get excited." Zara bounced on her toes. "My therapist says I should work on my volume control, but also she says enthusiasm is a gift, so really I'm just gifting everyone my enthusiasm." Ethan found himself laughing genuinely for the first time in weeks. "I like your enthusiasm, Zara." "See, Maya? Your dad gets it." "He's smiling," Maya observed. "That's progress." The energy in the car was completely different with Zara present. Where before there had been silence, now there was everything. Words, laughter, the chaotic energy of a 9-year-old who'd apparently been saving up conversation all day. "Mr. Parker, did Maya tell you about the science project? We're partners and we're building a volcano, but not a regular volcano, a chocolate volcano that erupts chocolate lava." And Zara breathed. "Sorry, we're going to use chocolate syrup and food coloring and maybe some pop rocks for fizzing. And Mrs. Henderson said we have to present next Friday, and Maya wants to write about the scientific method, but I want to focus on the chocolate because chocolate is more interesting than methodology," Ethan suggested. "Exactly." Zara leaned forward from the back seat. You understand me, Mr. Parker. He's also smiling more, Maya noted. Zara, I think you're good for my dad. Everyone needs a Zara in their life, Zara declared. That's what my papa says. He says I'm exhausting, but in the best way possible. They stopped at a red light. Ethan glanced in the mirror. Maya was watching Zara with something like affection mixed with exasperation, the look of someone who'd found a best friend in the eye of a hurricane. How long have you two been friends? Ethan asked. Since kindergarten, Maya said. She asked me to share my crayons and then never stopped talking. That's true, Zara said cheerfully. Maya had the 64 pack with the sharpener. How could I not talk to her? Your dad mentioned you have two dads, Ethan said, then worried he'd overstepped. Or two dads, Zara confirmed. Papa and Marcus. Well, technically dad and papa, because Marcus wanted to be called dad, but my biological dad is papa, because he's Indian, and I'm Indian, and in Indian families you say papa, or at least some do. And anyway, it's papa and dad, and they're great, except they both work too much, but who doesn't, right? The light turned green. They sound great, Ethan said sincerely. They are. They just got married last year. Well, they'd been together forever, but they only just got legally married because Marcus proposed on Leap Day, which was very romantic according to Papa, but Dad said it was impractical because now they only get an anniversary every 4 years. Maya caught Ethan's eye in the mirror and mouthed, "See what I deal with." But she was smiling. 2 weeks passed. The carpool became routine in the way the best routines do, not boring but comfortable. Expected. Something to look forward to. Monday, Wednesday. Friday, Ethan did pick up. Tuesday, Thursday, Ravi. They'd worked it out over text, a simple schedule that somehow made both their lives easier. The drives developed a rhythm. Zara would burst into the car with some declaration about a test, a book she was reading, a dream she'd had. Maya would provide sardonic commentary. Ethan would listen occasionally, ask questions, and feel something in him slowly unlocking. He'd never been a particularly relaxed parent. Sarah had always been better at the casual stuff, the jokes, the easy affection, the way she could ask about Maya's day and actually get answers. Ethan had always overthought things, read parenting books, worried about doing it right. But there was something about the car, the movement, the fact that they weren't facing each other, the time limit of the drive that made conversation easier, more honest. It was Wednesday afternoon. They were stopped at the longest red light in town, the one at Maple and 3rd, that everyone complained about at town council meetings. Mr. Parker, Zara said from the back seat. Her tone was different, more careful. Yeah, can I ask you something? Sure. Why did you and Maya's mom get divorced? Zara, Maya's voice was sharp. What my mom say I shouldn't ask, but I'm curious, and Mr. Parker seems nice, and no, it's okay. Ethan looked at both girls in the mirror. That's a fair question. You don't have to answer. Zara continued, words tumbling out faster now. My papa says curiosity killed the cat, but I'm not a cat. I'm a human, so technically... Zara, Ethan's voice was gentle. It's okay, I don't mind. The light was still red, a full minute at least. Enough time. Sometimes people grow apart, Ethan said slowly, choosing words carefully. It doesn't mean anyone did anything wrong. We still love Maya. We just realized we're better as friends than as married people. Do you still love each other? Zara asked. Maya was very quiet. In a way, Ethan said. Just differently now. Mom says you're her favorite ex-husband. Maya offered, her voice small. I'm her only ex-husband. Still counts. Zara was processing this, her face scrunched in concentration. My mom say divorce is hard, but it's better than staying in the wrong place. Is that true? Yeah, that's true. Sometimes the brave thing is admitting something isn't working. You're brave, Mr. Parker. Ethan felt something catch in his throat. Thanks, Zara. The light turned green. He pressed the gas. Can we get ice cream? Zara asked, her mood shifting instantly. It's Wednesday. So, we don't usually get ice cream on Wednesdays. Why not? Who made that rule? Maya leaned forward. Dad, she has a point. Who made the Wednesday ice cream rule? Ethan found himself smiling. You know what? Why not, Maya? Ice cream sounds good. He turned left instead of right toward the town center, where a small ice cream shop had been operating since before Ethan had moved to Connecticut. Maya had loved it when she was little. Maybe she still did. The shop smelled like waffle cones and vanilla. The same smell Ethan remembered from taking Maya here when she was 5, her face barely reaching the counter. Now she was 9, tall enough to see all the flavors, confident enough to ask for samples. "Can I try the salted caramel?" Maya asked the teenager behind the counter. "Me too," Zara added, "and the mint chocolate, and the cookie dough. Actually, can I try all of them?" Zara: "Just kidding. 3 is fine." They got their cones. Maya chose cookies and cream. Zara got a scoop of salted caramel and a scoop of something bright blue that the menu claimed was unicorn surprise. They sat at a small table by the window. Ethan's phone buzzed. A text from a neighbor, Michelle Chen, who lived 3 houses down. "Michelle, hey, I heard you do carpool for Pinewood Elementary. We just moved here. My son Lucas is in 5th grade, super quiet, having hard time adjusting. Any chance he could join? I work downtown." Ethan looked at the girls, deep in conversation about whether unicorns were horses with horns or a completely separate species. He typed back, "Of course, what's his address, Michelle? You're a lifesaver. 147 Birchwood Lane. He's really shy right now, fair warning." Ethan: "No problem. First date tomorrow, Michelle, perfect." "Thank you so much." Ethan put his phone down. Looked at Maya and Zara. "Hey girls, how would you feel about adding one more person to our carpool, a boy named Lucas?" Maya looked up, a smear of cream on her nose. "Lucas Chen, he's in my reading club." "Yeah, he's really nice, really quiet, but nice." Zara's expression shifted, becoming more serious than Ethan had ever seen her. "I heard his dad died. Is that true?" Zara: "It's true," Maya said quietly. "Last year, car accident." The shop's cheerful atmosphere suddenly felt distant. Ethan watched Maya process this, saw the empathy in her face. His daughter was 9 years old and already understood grief. "Then he probably needs some friends," Ethan said. "What do you say?" Both girls nodded. "Okay, he starts tomorrow." They finished their ice cream in thoughtful silence, different from the silence of that first drive. This silence had weight, understanding. On the drive home, Zara spoke up. "Mr. Parker, thanks for asking us about Lucas, like actually asking." "Of course. Most adults just tell kids what's happening. They don't ask what we think." "Well, it's your carpool too." "See," Zara turned to Maya, "I told you your dad was cool." Maya smiled at him in the mirror, a real smile, the kind that made every anxious moment worth it. Thursday morning, Lucas Chen's first day. Ethan pulled up to 147 Birchwood Lane at exactly 7:35 a.m. The house was modest, well kept, with a small garden in front, showing early signs of neglect, flowers that needed deadheading, grass slightly overgrown. The house of someone struggling to keep up. A boy emerged from the front door, 10 years old but small for his age, with dark hair and serious eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses. He wore a backpack that looked too big for him, held in front of his chest like a shield. Behind him, a woman Michelle waved from the doorway. She looked tired, the kind of tired that sleep doesn't fix. Lucas approached the car slowly, opened the door, climbed in. "Hi, Lucas," Ethan said gently. "I'm Mr. Parker. That's Maya up front, and Zara's next to you." "Hi, Lucas." Zara's voice was bright but carefully controlled, a conscious effort at appropriate volume. "I'm Zara, this is Maya, and we usually talk about random stuff on these drives. Yesterday we debated if hot dogs or sandwiches. What do you think?" Lucas's knuckles were white around his backpack straps. "I don't know." "That's okay. We can talk about something else. Do you like dinosaurs?" "I went through a dinosaur phase. Now I'm in my space phase." "What phase are you in?" "I'm not in a phase." "Oh?" Maya turned around in her seat. "Zara, maybe give him some space." "Right. Sorry." Zara's voice dropped. "I'm a lot. My dad say I'm exuberantly verbose." "That's a fancy way of saying talkative," Ethan offered. "I know. Isn't it great?" Silence settled. Lucas stared out the window, his body language screaming discomfort. Ethan made a mental note to talk to Zara later about reading the room, though. Part of him appreciated her attempt at welcome. They were 2 blocks from school when Lucas spoke so quietly Ethan almost missed it. "I think hot dogs are tacos." Zara gasped. Actually gasped. "What?" Think about it. Lucas continued, his voice still soft but steadier. Bread on three sides, filling in the middle. That's a taco structure. Maya's eyes widened. That's actually genius. Lucas, Ethan said, meeting his eyes in the mirror, you just blew our minds. The corner of Lucas's mouth twitched. Not quite a smile, but close. Turn. The next few weeks unfolded in a pattern. Lucas remained mostly quiet, but the quality of his silence changed. Less defensive, more observational. He'd occasionally offer a comment, always surprising, always thoughtful, like he'd been listening carefully and finally decided something was worth saying. Week 2 brought another addition, a girl named Olivia Martinez. 8 years old and used to the area, barely spoke English. Her mother, tired working 2 jobs, had asked Robbie about the carpool during pickup. Robbie had texted Ethan. Ethan had said yes immediately. Olivia climbed into the car that first day and looked terrified. She clutched her backpack, pressed herself against the door, eyes wide. Hola, Zara greeted her enthusiastically. I'm Zara. We're going to be friends? Olivia shrank back. Maya leaned over, spoke in gentle Spanish. Está bien, somos amables. It's okay, we're kind. Olivia's shoulders relaxed just slightly. You speak Spanish? Lucas asked Maya, genuinely curious. My mom's family is from Mexico. She made sure I learned. That's cool, Lucas said. Then to Olivia in halting Spanish, Bienvenida. Welcome, Olivia smiled. Week 3. Lucas's guard continued to come down in increments. One Tuesday, Ethan picked up all 4 kids. They were discussing school projects. I have to do a presentation about someone important to me, Zara announced. I'm doing both my dads because I couldn't choose. I'm doing my abuela, Olivia said shyly, her English improving daily. I'm doing Marie Curie, Maya said, because she discovered radioactivity and also broke a ton of barriers for women in science. Everyone looked at Lucas. I'm doing my dad, he said quietly. The car got very quiet. He used to do carpool. Lucas continued, still looking out the window. Every day, he'd play these stupid dad jokes on audio, really terrible puns. Yeah, Ethan asked gently. Yeah, I pretended they were annoying, but they were actually kind of funny. Want me to find some? Ethan pulled out his phone at the next red light, started searching. There are whole podcasts of dad jokes. Maybe. Lucas's voice was soft. Maybe that would be okay. That afternoon, Ethan played a dad joke podcast during the drive. The jokes were terrible, genuinely awful. Why don't scientists trust atoms? The overly cheerful host asked. Why? Zara leaned forward eagerly. Because they make up everything. The kids groaned, but they were smiling, even Lucas. That was terrible, Maya declared. The worst, Zara agreed. One more, Ethan asked. One more, Lucas said, almost a whisper, but he said it. Week 4 brought a shift. They'd been doing carpool for a month now. The routine was established. Morning pickups rotated between Ethan and Robbie with occasional help from Michelle when her schedule allowed. The kids had found their dynamic, Zara as the energetic one, Maya as the grounding force, Lucas as the careful observer, Olivia as the sweet presence slowly finding her voice. It was a Thursday afternoon. Rain had started during the school day, turning into a steady downpour by dismissal. The carpool lane was chaos, umbrellas, teachers in bright vests, kids running through puddles. All 4 kids climbed in wet and laughing about something. Mr. Henderson fell in a puddle, Zara announced. He slipped on the wet floor by the library, Maya clarified. He's okay, Lucas added quickly. Just embarrassed. Everyone laughed, Olivia said, practicing her English. But he laughed too. They pulled out of the school lot, windshield wipers on full speed. Traffic was terrible. An accident on Main Street had everything backed up. Ugh, we're gonna be here forever, Zara moaned from the back. They'd been sitting at the same light for 5 minutes, not moving. Dad, can we play a game? Maya asked. Sure, what game? Rosebud Thorn. You say something good about your day, that's the rose. Something you're looking forward to, that's the bud. And something hard, that's the thorn. I like that. Okay, I'll start. Ethan thought for a moment. Rose, this carpool, getting to know you guys. Bud, pizza night at home tonight. Thorn, this traffic. Everyone laughed. Rose, getting an A on my math test, Maya said. Bud, sleepover at mom's this weekend. Thorn, I miss having both my parents in one place. The laughter stopped. Ethan met Maya's eyes in the mirror. That's a fair thorn, sweetheart. Rose, my papa made dal my favorite food, Zara said. Bud, my birthday next month. Thorn, my grandma is sick in India and we can't visit her. Lo siento, Olivia said softly. Then carefully, Rose making friends here. Bud, my English getting better. Thorn, I miss my cousins in Honduras. Everyone turned to Lucas. He was pressed against the window watching rain streak down the glass. I don't want to, he said. That's okay, Maya said immediately. You don't have to. Silence. Just the rain, the windshield wipers, the distant honking of frustrated drivers. They sat there 1 minute, 2. Then Lucas spoke, his voice breaking. Rose, this carpool. Bud, nothing really. Thorn, my dad's not here and he should be. It's not fair. Nothing's fair. Ethan didn't think. He just acted. Pulled the car over to the shoulder, put it in park, turned on the hazards, turned around in his seat. Lucas, he waited until the boy looked at him. You're right, it's not fair, and I'm so sorry. Lucas's face crumpled. Tears came, the kind that had been held back too long. Everyone says it gets better, but it doesn't. It just hurts. It still hurts all the time. I know. Ethan's own voice was thick. Can I tell you something? You don't have to be okay. You don't have to find the rose or the bud. Some days, everything is thorns, and that's okay too. Really, we're here, all of us, on the thorn days too. Zara reached over, took Lucas's hand. We're your carpool family now. Maya took his other hand. Olivia put her hand on his shoulder, said something soft in Spanish. Lucas cried, not quietly, not neatly, the big gasping sobs of a 10-year-old who'd been trying to be brave for too long. Ethan stayed parked on the shoulder. Let cars honk as they passed. Let the rain pour. Let Lucas cry for as long as he needed. Finally, after minutes that felt like hours, Lucas's breathing steadied. Okay, he said, wiping his face with his sleeve. I'm okay now. We can go. You sure? Ethan asked. Yeah, thanks, Mr. Parker. Thanks, guys. Ethan pulled back into traffic. The energy in the car was different now. Heavier, yes, but also somehow lighter, like a pressure valve had been released. They drove in silence for a while. Then Zara started humming. Maya joined in. Olivia, too. Lucas didn't sing, but he stopped crying. When they dropped him off, Michelle was waiting at the door. She gave Ethan a questioning look. Lucas's face was puffy, his eyes red. Lucas turned before going inside. Tomorrow, same time. Same time, Ethan confirmed. That evening, Michelle texted. Michelle, Lucas told me what happened. Thank you. He hasn't cried like that since the funeral. His therapist says that's actually good. So thank you, Ethan. He's a great kid. I'm glad he felt safe enough. Michelle, you created that. That safe space. Don't underestimate what you're doing. Ethan stared at those words for a long time. Boom. Later that night, after Maya was in bed, Ethan called Sarah. Hey, she answered. Background noise, a restaurant probably. She had a date. Good for her. Hey, is this a bad time? No, give me a sec. Sounds of her excusing herself. Okay, what's up? The carpool is going well, he started. I'm glad. Maya seems happier, more settled. Something happened today. He told her about Lucas, about the crying, about the way the other kids had just known what to do. Ethan, that's beautiful. You created a safe space for those kids. I didn't mean to, it just happened. 15 minutes twice a day, and somehow we've built this thing. You know what you should do, Sarah's voice carried a smile. Record some of these conversations. Obviously with permission. But these are real moments, real parenting wins. People should hear this. Like a podcast. Why not? You're always listening to them anyway. Make your own. The Carpool Chronicles or something. That's actually not a terrible idea. I have those occasionally. Sarah, yeah. Thank you for being okay with all of this, for not making this harder than it needs to be. We're better at this, she said gently. Being apart, being friends. It's okay to admit that. Yeah, it is. After they hung up, Ethan sat in his home office, the spare bedroom he'd converted still full of moving boxes he hadn't unpacked. He opened his laptop, Googled how to start a podcast. The search results were overwhelming. Equipment, editing software, hosting platforms. But then he thought about Lucas crying in the back seat, Zara declaring them a carpool family, Maya opening up about missing her intact family, Olivia finding her voice. Those moments didn't need fancy production. They just needed to be shared. Maybe Sarah was right. Maybe other parents needed to hear that connection could happen anywhere, even in a Honda Pilot stuck in traffic. He bookmarked a few articles, made a note to ask the parents, made a note to ask the kids. Tomorrow. He'd ask tomorrow. For tonight, it was enough to know that he'd done something right, that when a child needed someone to see their pain, Ethan had pulled over, had stayed, had witnessed. Sometimes he realized being a good parent wasn't about having the right answers. It was about asking the right questions and staying for the answers even when they hurt. Monday morning arrived with the kind of crisp October air that made everything feel possible. Ethan had spent the weekend thinking about Sarah's suggestion, a podcast. It seemed both ridiculous and perfect. He'd listened to enough of them during his commute back when he had a commute to an office during solo dinners during the long nights after Sarah moved out. Other people's voices filling the silence. Maybe his voice, their voices, the kids' voices could fill someone else's silence. But first he needed permission. From parents. From kids. From everyone whose story this was not just his. Lucas was first pickup that morning. He climbed in quietly, but something was different. His backpack wasn't held quite so tightly. His shoulders weren't quite so raised. Morning, Lucas. Morning, Mr. Parker. How was your weekend? Okay, my mom and I went to the movies. We saw that new animated one about the kid who can talk to animals. Any good? It was fine. Lucas paused. Thanks, for Friday, in the car. Ethan met his eyes in the mirror. You don't have to thank me for that. I kind of do, though. Nobody really lets me talk about my dad. They all get uncomfortable. You can always talk about him here, anytime. Lucas nodded, looked out the window. But the quality of his silence had changed. Less isolation, more peace. They picked up Maya, then Zara, then Olivia. The car filled with morning energy. Zara's chatter about a dream she'd had involving a dragon and a library. Maya's reminder about a permission slip due today. Olivia's careful English as she told them about helping her mother cook pupusas over the weekend. At a red light, Ethan cleared his throat. Hey guys, I have a question. How would you feel if I recorded some of our drives, not every day, just sometimes, when we have interesting conversations? Like a podcast. Zara's eyes went wide. OMG, yes. Dad, are you sure? Maya's voice carried skepticism. Only if everyone's comfortable. Lucas, Olivia. Lucas thought about it. What would you do with the recordings? Maybe make a podcast about parenting, about kids, about the real stuff that happens in cars, but only with your parents' permission. And you can always say no to being recorded. Always. Would people hear it? Olivia asked, her voice small. Maybe, if we did it right, but we'd never use your last names. And nothing goes out without everyone agreeing. I want to practice English, Olivia said slowly. Recording helped me hear myself. Definitely. Lucas was quiet for a long moment. Then, okay, I'm in. Everyone looked at Maya. Fine, but I get veto power if I say something embarrassing. Deal. I'll talk to your parents today. The light turned green. In the mirror, Ethan caught Zara bouncing in her seat. We're going to be famous, she declared. We're going to be recorded, Maya corrected. That's different. Still counts. So, by Wednesday, Ethan had permissions from everyone. Ravi and Marcus had been enthusiastic. Michelle had been cautiously supportive. Anything that helped Lucas process was worth trying. Olivia's mother had needed the concept explained twice, but once she understood, she'd been grateful for anything that helped her daughter's English. Ethan had ordered a simple recording setup. Nothing fancy, a USB microphone that plugged into his phone, a small adapter that would capture car audio without requiring individual mics. He'd watched 3 YouTube tutorials on audio editing. He felt completely unprepared. Wednesday afternoon, he mounted the small microphone on his dashboard. The kids noticed immediately. Is that it? Zara leaned forward to examine it. It's so small. That's all we need. When do we start? Now, if that's okay with everyone, 4 nods. Ethan pressed record on his phone. A red light appeared on the screen. Okay, so this is episode 1 of, I don't know what to call it yet. The Carpool Chronicles, Zara announced. Sure, the Carpool Chronicles. Episode 1. In the car today, my daughter Maya, her friends Zara, Lucas, and Olivia, ages 8 to 10, and we're just driving and talking. So, anyone have anything on their mind? Silence. The kids who normally couldn't stop talking had gone completely quiet. Ethan laughed. It's weird, right? Being recorded, super weird, Maya agreed. How about this? Let's just talk like we normally do. Forget the microphone is there. More silence. Then, oh, Zara perked up. I have a question. Why do adults always ask, how was school, but they don't really want to know? What do you mean? Ethan asked, genuinely curious. Like if I say fine, everyone's happy. But if I actually tell them how it was, I felt left out at recess and the cafeteria was too loud and I worried about the math test all day, adults look stressed, like they regret asking. Maya turned around. That's actually true. We're supposed to be honest, but not too honest. Wow. Ethan processed this. I never thought about it like that. You're right. We ask because we care, but maybe we're not always ready for the real answer. So how should we answer? Lucas asked quietly. The truth, always the truth, and I promise to be ready for it, even if it's hard, even if it's complicated. Even if truth is hard, Olivia asked, her accent making the words careful. Especially if the truth is hard. The conversation unfolded naturally from there. Zara talked about feeling left out at recess, how her 2 best friends had started playing a game without her, and she'd pretended not to care but actually felt terrible. Maya shared about a test she'd thought she'd failed, but ended up getting a B on and how relieved she'd felt. Lucas, in his quiet way, mentioned that his teacher had asked the class to draw their families, and he hadn't known whether to include his dad or not. Did you? Ethan asked gently. Yeah, he's still my family. Just because he's dead doesn't mean he's not my dad anymore. That's exactly right, Ethan said. Love doesn't end, it just changes form. Olivia talked about how hard it was to make friends when words didn't come easily, how she understood more than she could say how frustrating that felt. They talked for the entire 15-minute drive. When they reached the first drop-off point, Zara looked genuinely disappointed. That went so fast. We'll do it again, Ethan promised. Friday. They all agreed. That night, Ethan sat in his office and listened to the recording. He'd expected to cringe at his own voice. Everyone hates how they sound recorded. But instead, he found himself moved. These kids, their wisdom, their honesty, the way they saw the world. Zara's observation about adults not really wanting to hear the truth. Maya's vulnerability about school stress. Lucas's matter-of-fact statement about his father still being his father. Olivia's frustration about being understood but not heard. He edited, lightly removed a few ums, cut out the sounds of turn signals and street noise. But mostly he left it raw. Real. He uploaded it to a free podcast hosting site. Created simple cover art, just text, nothing fancy. Wrote a brief description. Real conversations with real kids during real carpool rides. Unscripted, unfiltered. The wisdom that happens when we actually listen. He sent the link to Sarah first. Sarah, Ethan, this is incredible. I cried. Actual tears. You have to keep doing this. He sent it to Ravi and Marcus. Marcus, we just listened. Zara is already texting everyone she knows. You've created something special here. He sent it to Michelle. Michelle, Lucas asked to listen to it 3 times. He says hearing himself talk about his dad made it feel more real. Thank you. He didn't expect what happened next. Friday morning, Ethan's phone was full of notifications. The episode had been shared, and shared again. Someone had posted it to a parenting Reddit forum. Someone else had tweeted about it. A parenting blogger with a significant following had written about it. By Friday afternoon, the episode had 5,000 downloads. Mr. Parker, Zara climbed into the car, waving her phone. We're viral. Well, kind of viral. My dad showed me the numbers. 5,000 people heard us. That's a lot of people, Maya said, looking uncertain. Is that okay? Ethan asked. I know it's more than we expected. Lucas was quiet in the back. People are commenting. About what I said. About my dad. Ethan's heart sank. Are they being mean? Because if they are, no, they're being nice, really nice. Some of them said they lost parents too. Some of them said it helped to hear me say it's still hard. Lucas looked up. Is that weird? That strangers heard me cry? I don't think so. But what do you think? I think, Lucas considered. I think maybe it's okay. If it helps someone else feel less alone. That's very mature of you, Ethan said. Can we record again? Is Tamadia record again? Zara asked her. We should totally record again. Same rules apply. You can always opt out. You can always veto something. This is your story, not mine. Let's do it, Maya decided. But maybe we should have a topic today. Like what? Something people asked about. People commented asking about school, about homework, about stress. School stress, Zara said. I have opinions about school stress. Zara has opinions about everything, Maya teased. And I'm going to share more to share them with 5,000 people. Ethan pressed record. Over the next 2 weeks, they recorded 4 more episodes. Episode 2 was about school stress. Zara talked about how homework felt pointless busy work that took time away from actually learning things she cared about. Maya discussed test anxiety, how her stomach hurt before big exams even though she always studied. Lucas mentioned that school felt different after his dad died, like everyone treated him fragile. Olivia described how exhausting it was to learn in a second language, how by the end of the day her brain felt full. The episode resonated. Teachers shared it. School counselors referenced it. Parents messaged Ethan saying they'd never understood their kids' school experience until they heard it from these kids. Episode 3 was about friendship. The complicated parts, feeling left out, navigating fights, jealousy, loyalty, the weird politics of elementary school social life. Episode 4 was about divorce. Maya's idea. She wanted to talk about it directly to stop tiptoeing around it. People think divorce is this tragedy, Maya said on the recording. And it is sad, but also it's better than my parents being unhappy. I'd rather have 2 homes where everyone is okay than 1 home where everyone is pretending. Zara added her perspective. My dad's got married late, I was already 7, but I never felt like my family wasn't real just because it looked different. Family is who shows up. Lucas. I'd give anything to have my dad back even if my parents were divorced. I don't care about the structure. I just miss him. Olivia. My family is split by countries. My cousins in Honduras, my parents here, we are family even with ocean between us. That episode made people cry. Ethan knew because they told him. Hundreds of messages, thousands. Episode 5 was lighter about favorite foods, weird food combinations, school lunch, horror stories. They needed a break from heavy topics. By the end of October, the Carpool Chronicles had 50,000 regular listeners. A producer named Jennifer Callahan reached out. She worked for a podcast network that specialized in authentic human stories. They met at a coffee shop in town. Jennifer was in her 40s with kind eyes and a no-nonsense demeanor. Ethan, this is special, she said, her latte untouched. Real unscripted conversations with kids. There's nothing like it. Most parenting podcasts are adults talking about kids. You've given kids a platform to speak for themselves. I don't want to exploit them, Ethan said immediately. You're not exploiting, you're amplifying. There's a difference. Jennifer pulled out her tablet. Here's what we're thinking. Our network would handle distribution, advertising, some light production support. You maintain creative control. Kids maintain veto power. We handle the business side, you focus on the conversations. What's the catch, and why? No catch. We'd take a percentage of ad revenue, but we'd also grow your audience substantially. Right now, you're at 50,000. Within 3 months, we could get you to 500,000. 500,000 people listening to his daughter, to Lucas's grief, to Zara's enthusiasm, to Olivia's careful English. I need to talk to the kids, Ethan said, and their parents. Of course, think about it, talk to everyone. But Ethan, Jennifer met his eyes. Don't underestimate what you're doing. You're showing people how to actually listen to children. In a world where kids are constantly talked over, you're giving them the microphone. That matters. Monday morning meeting car edition. All 4 kids present. Ethan had forwarded Jennifer's proposal to all the parents over the weekend. Now it was time to hear from the people who mattered most. Okay, we need to talk. The podcast is getting really popular, like really popular, and there's an opportunity to make it bigger. But I want to know how you feel. Maya, his daughter, was quiet for a moment. I think it's cool, but I don't want to be famous. That's weird. I just want to have conversations. I want to be famous, Zara announced. Of course you do, Maya said fondly. Lucas, Ethan asked. Lucas looked out the window. The episode about my dad, a lot of people listened to that. Some people messaged my mom saying it helped them. People who lost someone too. That's good, I think. If talking about my dad helps someone else. What do you think, Olivia? My parents say I speak good on podcasts. They proud. My English teacher says she hear me and I sound smart. Olivia smiled. That make me happy. Ethan felt something in his chest tighten. These kids, their generosity, their willingness to share their lives. Here's what I'm thinking, he said. We keep doing exactly what we're doing. Same car, same kids, same conversations. No scripts, no pressure, no fake stuff, but maybe more people hear it. And if any of you ever want to stop, we stop immediately. Deal. Deal, they all agreed. Can we have a cool intro song? Zara asked. Absolutely. Can I help pick it? I wouldn't dream of letting anyone else. Damn. The partnership with Jennifer's network launched in early November. The production quality improved better audio, a commissioned intro song that Zara had indeed helped select something upbeat, but not cheesy with guitars and a whistle melody, brief sponsor messages that Ethan carefully vetted to ensure they were products he actually believed in. But the core stayed the same. 15-minute drives, 4 kids, 1 dad, real conversations. They recorded twice a week, releasing episodes on Wednesdays and Fridays. Topics emerged organically. The bully problem came from a Monday when Maya got in the car with red eyes. She'd been excluded from a game at recess deliberately. They talked about why kids bully, what it feels like to be bullied, what it feels like to watch bullying happen and not know what to do. First crushes emerged when Zara announced completely unprompted that she thought a boy in her class was cute. The conversation that followed was hilarious and heartfelt. Maya admitting she'd had a crush on a girl in her reading group but didn't know if that was allowed, Lucas saying he didn't really get crushes yet. And was that weird, Olivia explaining that in her culture, her parents would probably arrange her marriage someday, and that felt scary but also kind of nice not having to worry about it. When parents fight was hard. It started when Lucas mentioned he'd heard his mom crying on the phone with his grandmother, arguing about grief counseling. That led to Maya talking about hearing her parents argue before the divorce, how scary it had been. Zara shared that her dad sometimes fought about money, about work stress, and how she pretended not to hear, but she always did. That episode got shared by family therapists across the country. Being different covered everything from Zara's 2 dads, to Olivia being an immigrant, to Lucas being the dead dad kid, to Maya having divorced parents. They talked about standing out, fitting in, whether being different was a good thing or a hard thing, or both. What happens when we die came up naturally when they passed the cemetery, and Zara asked the question everyone was thinking, but no one wanted to say. Lucas's answer, I don't know, but I hope my dad knows I still love him, made Ethan have to pull over because he was crying too hard to drive safely. By December, they had 200,000 regular listeners. By January, 500,000. The reviews poured in essential listening for parents. These kids say the wisest things. I finally understand my own daughter better. Lucas's episodes about grief helped me talk to my son about his grandfather's death. Zara makes me laugh every episode. Maya is going to change the world someday. Olivia's courage inspires me. Local news picked it up, then regional news, then a segment on a national morning show. The dad who created a podcast in his car and changed how America talks to kids. Ethan was interviewed on local radio. The kids were recognized at school. Teachers referenced episodes in class. Other parents started their own carpool conversations, tagging photos with #CarpoolChronicles. But in the car, things stayed mostly the same. They still talked about homework and lunch and playground drama. They still played the rosebud thorn game. They still sometimes just drove in comfortable silence. The podcast hadn't changed who they were. It had just given them a platform. February brought snow and a new challenge. A parent at school complained to the principal. Her son had asked why he couldn't be on the podcast. Why were these kids special? Why were they getting attention? The principal called Ethan. Mr. Parker, I want to be clear, you're not doing anything wrong. The podcast is beautiful. But I need you to be aware that some parents feel their children are being excluded. Ethan understood. He'd been worried about this. That afternoon, he brought it up in the car. Hey guys, I want to talk about something. Some kids at school are asking why they're not part of the podcast. How do you feel about that? Silence. Then Maya, it's weird, right? This started as just our carpool. Now people want to be part of it because it's popular. That feels wrong. Like they don't want to have conversations, Lucas said. They just want to be on something people listen to. But maybe some kids really do have things to say, Zara offered. Maybe we could, I don't know, have guest passengers. Guest passengers, Ethan asked. Sometimes, not every episode, but like sometimes someone else rides with us. Someone who has a story or a question or just wants to talk. Olivia nodded enthusiastically. Like more friends, more voices. What do you think, Maya, Lucas? I think it could be okay, Maya said slowly, as long as it stays real, as long as people aren't performing. I agree, Lucas said. So they started having guests, once a month, carefully selected, a boy whose parents were deployed overseas, a girl with ADHD who wanted to talk about how her brain worked differently, a kid in a wheelchair, a child of immigrants, a boy being raised by his grandmother. Each guest brought new perspective, new stories, new wisdom. The episodes with guests were some of their most powerful. But the best episodes were still just the four of them, like the March episode recorded on the first day of spring. They had the windows down, fresh air flowing through the car. Someone's lawnmower hummed in the distance. Zara was telling a rambling story about a dream she'd had. Ethan wasn't even sure they'd recorded anything worth keeping. It was just a drive, just conversation. But when he listened back, he heard it. The ease, the trust, the way they could say anything or nothing, the way silence didn't feel awkward anymore. He almost didn't publish it. It wasn't deep, wasn't profound, but Sarah convinced him. That's exactly why you should publish it, she said. They'd started having weekly check-ins, co-parenting meetings that sometimes turned into friendly catch-ups. Not every conversation has to be life-changing. Sometimes the most powerful thing is just showing up, being present. The ordinary moments matter too. He published it, called it The Ordinary Ones Matter Most. It became their most downloaded episode. April brought Maya's 10th birthday. She wanted a small party, just family and her best friends. Ethan was, of course, invited to stay, even though the party was at Sarah's house. He arrived to find balloons, a homemade cake Maya had insisted on helping, and a small group of kids, including, of course, Zara, Lucas, and Olivia. Mr. Parker, Zara ran up to him. Maya said you might bring the recording equipment. Ethan looked at his daughter. She shrugged. It's my birthday. I want to remember it. All of it. So he set up the microphone, not for the podcast, just for Maya. They recorded the party, the laughter, the terrible jokes, the off-key singing of Happy Birthday, Lucas and Maya having a surprisingly competitive game of Uno, Zara doing an impromptu performance of a song she'd written about friendship, Olivia teaching everyone a hand clap game from Honduras. At the end of the night, Maya hugged him, really hugged him, the kind of hug where she wasn't pulling away first. Thanks for doing this, Dad, the carpool, the podcast, all of it. I didn't do anything. You guys did it. You listened. That's everything. The school year wound down. June brought final exams field day, the energy of summer approaching. On the last day of school, all four kids climbed into the car with the specific chaos of freedom. No more homework, no more early mornings, 3 months of possibility. We're free, Zara yelled. We're going to miss each other, Maya said. We'll still hang out, Lucas said. Right. Obviously, Ethan confirmed. Carpool might be on summer break, but we're not. Can we do summer episodes, Olivia asked. Maybe about summer things. Absolutely. They recorded one last episode that day. Summer plans and growing up. Each kid talked about what they were looking forward to: Zara's family trip to visit her grandmother in India, Maya's sleepaway camp, Lucas's first time flying to visit cousins Olivia's ESL summer program. They talked about how weird it was to be getting older. Next school year, Lucas would be in middle school. The others would be in fifth grade. Things were changing, but some things stay the same, Maya said. Like this, the carpool, us. The Carpool Chronicles, Zara declared dramatically. Forever, Olivia added. Lucas smiled. Yeah, forever. Ethan looked at them in the rearview mirror. These kids who taught him how to listen, how to show up, how to be present. Forever, he agreed. Summer unfolded in the way summers do when you're 10 years old, slowly, and all at once endless and fleeting. They didn't do regular carpools, but Ethan organized meetups, pool days at the local rec center, movie afternoons, a few episodes recorded in his backyard instead of the car, which felt different but still worked. The kids sitting on his deck, popsicles melting, talking about summer reading lists and boredom and missing school, which they all denied, but clearly felt. Maya spent alternate weeks with Ethan and Sarah. The arrangement was working better than Ethan had dared to hope. Maya seemed lighter. Both her parents seemed lighter. Sometimes the brave thing really was admitting something wasn't working. In July, Lucas's mom, Michelle, invited Ethan for coffee. They met at the same shop where he'd met with Jennifer months ago. Michelle looked different, less tired, or maybe just differently tired. The tired of someone carrying grief but not drowning in it. I wanted to thank you, she said, properly, not just in text. You don't have to. Yes, I do. He's coming back. Not all the way. Maybe he never will be all the way back to who he was before. But he's talking, he's laughing. He talks about his dad without falling apart. Michelle's eyes were wet. That podcast, those drives, you gave him something I couldn't, a place where his grief was normal. He gave us something too, Ethan said honestly. He taught us it's okay to not be okay. He told me something last week. He said he thinks his dad would like that he's on the podcast, that his dad always wanted Lucas to use his voice more. Michelle smiled through tears. So thank you for listening, for staying. After she left, Ethan sat in his car for a long time thinking about what it means to show up. How the smallest actions, pulling over on a rainy day, pressing record, asking, "Are you okay?" ripple outward in ways you can't predict or measure. Oh. August came, the end of summer energy that's part anticipation, part dread. The kids were ready to go back to school and terrified to go back to school in equal measure. Lucas would be in sixth grade at the middle school, a different building, different schedule. The carpool would change. They recorded an episode about it, growing up and growing apart. I'm scared. Lucas admitted, his voice steadier than it used to be, but still carrying weight. Middle school is bigger, different. What if I don't make friends? You will, Maya said with certainty. How do you know? Because you're Lucas. You're quiet, but you're smart and you're kind and you're funny when people actually listen. Middle schoolers will figure that out. And you'll still have us, Ziga added. I mean, we won't see you every day, but we're still your people. My carpool family, Lucas said, almost smiling. Exactly. Ethan looked at them in the mirror, except they weren't in the car. They were in his backyard again, the August heat making them drowsy. Maya was almost as tall as Ethan now. Zara had gotten braces. Lucas had shot up 3 inches. Olivia's English was nearly perfect. They were growing up. You know what I've learned, Ethan said. From all of this, distance doesn't end connection. Change doesn't end love. You can grow up and still stay close. It just looks different. Is that what happened with you and Maya's mom? Zara asked. Of course, Zara asked. Yeah, exactly that. That's good, Zara said. I mean, it's sad, but it's also good that you can still be family even when you're not together all the time. We'll still be family, Maya said firmly. The 5 of us, even when Lucas is at middle school, even when we're all in different places eventually. We had this thing, this real thing that doesn't just disappear. The Carpool Chronicles, Olivia said, grinning. Forever, they all said together. September arrived, 5th grade for Maya, Zara, and Olivia. 6th grade for Lucas at the middle school. The new carpool schedule was complicated. Middle school started 30 minutes earlier. Ethan couldn't do both pickups. Ravi and Marcus stepped up for middle school duty. Ethan kept the elementary school crew, but they found a new rhythm. Once a week, Thursday afternoons, Ethan picked up Lucas from middle school after grabbing the elementary kids. They'd drive around for a while, nowhere particular, just talking. Those Thursday episodes became something special. The others would ask Lucas about middle school, the lockers, the homework load, the social dynamics. Lucas, who'd started the year terrified, began to sound almost confident. "It's not as scary as I thought," he said in September. "People are actually pretty nice, and the teachers treat you more like people, not little kids." "Do you have a locker?" Zara asked, fascinated. "Yeah, number 247, it's blue." "That's so cool, I can't wait for middle school." "Yes, you can," Maya said. "Elementary school's fine. Why are you in such a hurry?" "Because I want to grow up." "Why?" Lucas asked, genuinely curious. Zara paused. "I don't know. That's just what you're supposed to do, right? Grow up. I think you're allowed to take your time," Ethan said. October brought the one-year anniversary of the podcast. Jennifer's network wanted to do something special. A live episode maybe, or a retrospective, something to mark the occasion. Ethan called a meeting, car meeting, of course. "So 1 year," he said, 47 regular episodes, a few specials, hundreds of thousands of listeners. What do we want to do?" "I think we should do what we always do," Maya said. "Just drive and talk. But maybe talk about what we've learned, what this year has been." "I like that," Lucas said from the back. He'd specifically asked to be included in this conversation, had Ravi drive him over for it. "We should answer listener questions," Zara suggested. "People send you questions all the time. Let's answer our favorites." So that's what they did. The 1-year anniversary episode was recorded on a Thursday afternoon drive that lasted longer than 15 minutes. Ethan drove them to the state park, the scenic loop that took 45 minutes. They brought snacks, made an event of it. "Okay," Ethan said, pressing record. 1 year, episode 47, all 4 original Carpool kids. Let's start with the big question we keep getting. What have we learned? That car rides are where the real stuff happens, Maya said immediately. Like not planned conversations, not sitting down at the dinner table and asking serious questions. Just being together, moving. That's when people talk. That kids have important things to say if adults actually listen, Zara added. Before this, I don't think adults really heard us. Not like truly heard us. They'd listen to our words, but not what we meant. That it's okay to be tired and it's okay to be happy again. Lucas's voice was soft but clear. "I was so scared that if I stopped being sad all the time, it meant I was forgetting my dad. But that's not true. You can miss someone and still laugh. You can grieve and still have good days. That friends can be family. And family can be friends." Olivia smiled. "My parents in Honduras, my cousins there, they are far but still close. And you all here, you are close, even though no blood relation. Family is who shows up." Ethan felt his throat tighten. "You know what I've learned? That the best moments in parenting aren't planned. They happen in the margins, in the drives to school, in the 15 minutes between activities, in the space where we're just together. No agenda, just presence." "Are you getting emotional, Dad?" Maya asked, but her voice was gentle. "Maybe a little." "Should we hug him?" Zara asked. "We're in a car, Zara," Lucas pointed out. "So group hug." The kids leaned forward from the back, reached around from the front. A tangle of arms and laughter. Ethan eyed, wet, laughing and crying at once. "Thank you," he said, "for trusting me with your stories, for teaching me how to listen." "Thanks for being a safe place," Maya said. They drove on, answered listener questions. "How do you know if you're doing a good job as a parent?" Lucas. "My mom worries about that, but I think if you're asking the question, you probably care enough that you're doing okay." "My dad used to say the worst parents are the ones who think they're perfect." "Maya, you can't be perfect, but you can be present. That's what matters." "How do I get my kid to open up to me?" Zara. "Stop asking yes or no questions. Don't say, 'Did you have a good day?' Say, what was the most interesting thing that happened today? Specific questions get specific answers. My child is being bullied. What should I do? Maya, believe them. First, just believe them. Don't minimize it. Don't say kids will be kids. Just believe them and then help. How do I help my child grieve, Lucas? Let them be sad. Don't try to fix it or make it better. Just sit with them in it. And don't say, I know how you feel, because you don't. Everyone's grief is different. My kid doesn't want to talk to me anymore. What happened, Olivia? Maybe they scared. Maybe they think you too busy. Maybe they think you not want to hear. Show them you have time. Show them you want to listen. Put phone away. Really look at them. The episode ran long, 50 minutes instead of 15. Ethan almost edited it down, then decided against it. Some things need space. It was their most downloaded episode ever. Within a week, it had been heard by over 1 million people. November brought something unexpected. A production company reached out. They wanted to make a documentary about the Carpool Chronicles. Follow the kids for a few months. Show the reality behind the podcast. Ethan's first instinct was no. Absolutely not. These kids weren't performers. This wasn't entertainment. But the producer, a woman named Sarah Klein, yes, another Sarah, which made things confusing, was persistent and thoughtful. I'm not interested in exploitation, she said over Zoom. I'm interested in authenticity. This podcast is changing how people parent. I want to show why. I want to show your face when Lucas talks about his dad. I want to show the kids being kids. I want to show what real listening looks like. I need to talk to everyone. Of course, he brought it up that Thursday. The kids' reactions surprised him. Would it be weird, Maya asked, having cameras? Probably, Ethan admitted, but it might help more people, Lucas said slowly. Like the podcast did. If people can see how you actually listen, maybe they'll learn. I want to do it, Zara declared. I was born for the camera. We know, Maya said fondly. Olivia, Ethan asked. She was quiet for a long moment. My English better now. I not so shy, maybe okay, if everyone else okay. They agreed to a trial, 2 weeks of filming. If anyone felt uncomfortable, they'd stop. Share. The cameras arrived in December. A small crew, just 3 people. Sarah Klein directing, 1 camera operator, 1 sound person. They were professionals, quiet, respectful. They set up small cameras in the car, captured the drives, the conversations. The first few days were weird. Everyone was aware of being watched. Conversations felt stilted. Then Zara broke the ice. Mid-drive, she turned to the camera and said, Okay, this is awkward. Can we just pretend you're not here? Sarah's voice from the front seat she was riding along. Please do. Okay, cool. Zara turned back. Anyway, as I was saying, the drama at recess today was unreal. And just like that, they relaxed. The cameras captured everything. Morning pickups where everyone was half asleep. Afternoon drives where the kids unloaded their days. Moments of laughter, moments of tears. A day when Lucas got a bad grade and felt terrible. A day when Olivia proudly announced she'd been selected for the school play. Zara's meltdown about a fight with another friend. Maya's quiet observation that she sometimes still wished her parents were together even though she knew it was better this way. They filmed Lucas at home, talking with his mom about his dad. They filmed Maya at both houses, showing how she navigated 2 homes. They filmed Zara with her 2 dads, their loving case. They filmed Olivia video chatting with her cousins in Honduras, the longing on her face. Sarah Klein was brilliant. She knew when to film and when to put the camera down. She knew when a moment was too private, too raw. At the end of 2 weeks, she called Ethan. I have something special here. This is going to touch people. When would it come out? If we rush, we could have it ready by March. But I'd rather take our time. Do it right, maybe next fall. Let me talk to everyone. The kids voted unanimously to continue. The parents agreed. Lucas's mom said, if this helps one other child dealing with grief, it's worth it. Winter deepened. The podcast continued twice a week, steady as ever. They did a holiday episode where each kid talked about their family traditions. Zara's family did both Diwali and Christmas. Maya's did Hanukkah with Sarah's family and Christmas Eve with Ethan. Lucas's family was trying to figure out new traditions without his dad. Olivia's family was blending Honduran and American traditions, creating something new. The episode about grief during the holidays made Ethan cry while editing it. Lucas's quiet admission, the first Thanksgiving without him, we couldn't do it. We ordered Chinese food and watched movies. That felt right. This year we're trying turkey again. Baby steps. January brought New Year's episodes. The kids talked about resolutions, but not the usual kind. I don't want to resolve to be perfect, Maya said. I want to resolve to be honest, even when it's hard. I want to try things that scare me, Lucas said. Join clubs, talk to people, stop hiding. I want to listen more, Zara said, which surprised everyone given how much she talked. I mean, I talk a lot, but I want to really hear people too, like Mr. Parker does. I want to feel home in America, Olivia said. Not just speak English, but feel like I belong here, while also still being Honduran. Both. Ethan's resolution, I want to be present, not perfect, just present. February brought Valentine's Day and an unexpected episode, First Heartbreak. Maya came to the car with red eyes. A boy she liked, not a crush exactly, but a friend she'd hoped might become more, had told her he liked someone else. In the car, she broke down. I know it's stupid, she said between sobs. I know we're only 10, but it hurts. It's not stupid, Lucas said immediately. Feelings aren't stupid. Even when they're about someone who doesn't like you back, Maya asked. Especially then. Zara reached over, held Maya's hand. My papa says heartbreak is just proof that you're brave enough to care. Most people are too scared to even try them. When my dad died, Lucas said slowly, people kept saying it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. I hated that. It felt like a dumb thing to say. But I think maybe it's true, like I'm glad I had my dad. Even though losing him destroyed me, I'm still glad I had him. Maya wiped her eyes. That's different though. Your dad loved you back. Yeah, but the principle is the same. You were brave enough to hope. That's not nothing. Ethan didn't say much that drive. He just let them talk, let them work through it together. When they got to Maya's house, she paused before getting out. Thanks, guys. That's what Carpool family is for, Zara said. Later, Ethan asked Maya if she wanted that episode released. It was vulnerable, raw. Yeah, she said. Maybe it helps someone else feel less alone. It did. The episode got thousands of messages from adults and kids alike. Heartbreak is universal, so is being seen in it. March brought spring break and a shift. The documentary crew finished filming. Sarah Klein had hours of footage, car conversations, home life school events, interviews with parents and teachers. She was deep in editing, said it was coming together beautifully. But more importantly, March brought change. Lucas's mom was dating someone, a kind man named David who had kids of his own. Lucas mentioned it casually one Thursday. My mom's boyfriend is nice, he said. I don't think he's trying to replace my dad. He just likes my mom, and he's nice to me. How does that feel? Ethan asked carefully. Weird, but good weird, I think. Like I was scared I'd be mad. Scared it meant my dad was being erased or something. But David talks about my dad, asks questions, says he seems like he was a great person. He was a great person, Ethan confirmed. Yeah, and that doesn't change just because my mom might be happy again. Growth, right there in the back seat. A 10-year-old understanding what some adults never learn. Zara's family was expanding too. Her dads were fostering a little girl, possibly moving toward adoption. Zara was excited and terrified. I've always been an only child, she said. What if I'm bad at being a big sister? You're going to be great, Maya assured her. How do you know? Because you care. That's half the battle. Willie Olivia's family was saving money to visit Honduras in the summer. She talked about it constantly, the anticipation and excitement mixed with nervousness. What if I forget things, she worried. What if it's not like I remember? What if my cousins don't recognize me? Family doesn't forget, Lucas said. Trust me, even when they're gone, they don't forget you, and you don't forget them. Maya was navigating her parents' new normal. Sarah was casually dating, Ethan was fine alone, but maybe not forever alone. They were becoming who they were supposed to be separately. It's weird watching them be happy without each other, Maya said one day, but also it's good. Better than watching them be unhappy together. Do you wish they'd stayed together? Zara asked. Sometimes, but then I remember what it was like before. The tension, the silence. This is better. Different, but better. April brought the lead up to the documentary premiere. Sarah Klein had finished it. The Carpool Chronicles, the documentary, would premiere at a small film festival in June, then be released to a streaming platform in September. She showed Ethan and the families a rough cut. They watched it together, all the kids, all the parents, Ethan and Sarah, his Sarah Maya's mom, Ravi, and Marcus Michelle, and her boyfriend David. It was 90 minutes of joy and heartbreak and wisdom. The documentary showed the reality behind the podcast. Ethan's anxiety, his determination to do right by these kids. Lucas's grief journey, the bad days and the better days. Zara's effervescent energy masking her own worries about her family changing. Maya's mature understanding of her parents' divorce mixed with the normal 10-year-old moments of just wanting things to be different. Olivia's courage in navigating a new country, new language, new life. It showed the conversations in the car, but also the silence. The comfortable quiet that came after they'd talked themselves out. The way Ethan would glance in the mirror checking on them. The way they'd check on each other. It showed what listening actually looks like. When it ended, everyone was crying. Is it okay? Sarah Klein asked nervously. I know it's vulnerable. If anyone wants anything cut, it's perfect. Michelle said, her voice thick. You captured everything. What this has meant for Lucas, for all of them. Can we watch it again? Zara asked. They did, twice more that night. May brought the end of another school year. 5th grade winding down for Maya, Zara, and Olivia. 6th grade ending for Lucas. Next year, new grades, new challenges. They recorded a season finale of sorts, what we're taking with us. What are you taking with you from this year? Ethan asked. Not things, but lessons, feelings. What stays? Maya, I'm taking the knowledge that family can look a million different ways. That love doesn't end just because relationships change. That it's okay to miss something and still be glad it's over. Zara. I'm taking the understanding that being a lot isn't a bad thing, that enthusiasm is a gift, that the right people won't want you to be smaller, they'll want you to be exactly who you are. Lucas, I'm taking hope, I guess, that things get better, not perfect, not back to how they were, but better in a new way, that you can carry grief and still have joy. That talking about my dad doesn't make it hurt more, it actually helps. Olivia, I am taking confidence, I can speak, I can be heard, I belong here and also there. I am both, and that is okay. Ethan, I'm taking presence, the reminder that the best moments aren't planned or perfect, they're just present. Showing up is enough. Listening is enough. Love is enough. Are you crying again, Dad? Maya asked. Maybe. It's okay, we all are. They were. All of them. Yeah. June brought summer again. The documentary premiered at the festival to standing ovations. Critics called it essential viewing and the most honest portrayal of childhood in decades. But for Ethan and the kids, that felt distant, abstract. What mattered was the pool days and the movie afternoons and the Thursday drives that continued even without school carpool. What mattered was Lucas texting the group chat, new high score on my video game. Wish my dad could see it, but I think he can somehow. What mattered was Zara introducing them to her new little sister, a 4-year-old named Ruby, who immediately declared Zara the best big sister ever. What mattered was Olivia FaceTiming from Honduras, showing them her cousins, her grandmother's house, the places she told them about. What mattered was Maya telling Ethan one night, you know, I think you and Mom are happier now, which makes me happier. So, thanks for being brave enough to change things. September came around again. A new school year. 6th grade for Maya, Zara, and Olivia. 7th grade for Lucas at the middle school. The documentary was released to the streaming platform. Within a week, it had millions of views. The podcast gained 3 million new subscribers. But the carpool stayed the same size, same car, Different days, sometimes different kids occasionally, but the core group remained. They recorded an episode 2 years after the first What Still Matters. 2 years, Ethan said. 2 school years. Over 100 episodes. Countless drives. What still matters? What stayed true? This, Maya said simply. Us. This space, knowing that twice a week we have this place where we can say anything. Showing up, Lucas said. Still matters. Maybe matters most. Being heard, Olivia added. Her English was flawless now. And hearing others. Both matter. Honesty, Zara said, uncharacteristically brief. Presence, Ethan finished. Everything else changes. We change. But showing up for each other, that's constant. They drove. Thursday afternoon, October sun slanting through the windows, leaves turning colors. Another school year underway. Someone asked about the podcast's impact, how it felt to know millions of people listened. It's weird, Maya admitted. Sometimes I forget. In here, it just feels like us. That's the point though, right? Lucas said. It shouldn't feel like performance. It should just feel like this. Connection, Ethan said. Family, Zara added. Home, Olivia concluded. They pulled up to the first drop-off. Zara climbed out, turned back. Same time tomorrow. Same time, Ethan confirmed. Carpool Chronicles, she said with a grin. Forever, they all responded. The documentary won awards. The podcast was nominated for several more. Ethan was invited to speak at education conferences, parenting seminars, podcasting conventions. He said yes to some, no to most. Because the work that mattered wasn't on stages. It was in a Honda Pilot driving through Connecticut suburbs. It was in 15-minute conversations that somehow changed lives. Jennifer Callahan's network wanted to expand more carpool podcasts, other cities, other families. But that's not what this is, Ethan told her. This isn't a format to replicate. It's a specific group of specific people in a specific time and place. The magic isn't the carpool. It's these kids, this trust. So what do you want to do? Jennifer asked. Keep driving, keep listening, keep recording, as long as they want to do it. And when they don't want to do it anymore, then we stop. And that's okay too. November brought Thanksgiving. The podcast did a special episode about gratitude, but real gratitude, not the performative kind. What do you actually see grateful for? Ethan asked. Not the things you think you should say, the real things. Lucas, I'm grateful I can talk about my dad now without falling apart. I'm grateful my mom is happy. I'm grateful for David, which is weird to say, but he's good to her and good to me. I'm grateful my dad existed even though missing him sucks. Maya, I'm grateful my parents are good at being divorced. That sounds weird, but it's true. They could have made it ugly. They didn't. They chose to be kind to each other. That's a gift, Zara. I'm grateful for Ruby. I thought being a big sister would be annoying, but it's actually amazing. I'm grateful my dad's let me be myself, even when myself is a lot. I'm grateful for you guys, obviously. My carpool family. Olivia, I am grateful for 2 countries, 2 languages, 2 homes. I thought that was confusing, but it is actually richness. I am grateful for bravery. Mine, my parents, all of ours. Ethan, I'm grateful I pulled over that day. When Lucas was crying, I almost didn't. I almost just kept driving. But I pulled over, and everything changed. I'm grateful for every small choice that led us here. December brought snow and holiday episodes in the end of another year. They recorded a New Year's episode early December 28th because everyone would be traveling or with family on the actual day. What do you hope for next year? Ethan asked. The answers were simpler than he expected. Maya, more of this, more honest conversations, more safe spaces. Zara, to be brave, to try new things, to stay myself. Lucas, to keep growing, to remember my dad while also building my future. Olivia, to help others the way I was helped, to be someone's safe space. Ethan, to keep showing up, that's all, just to keep showing up. Done. The episode ended with them sitting in the parked car in Ethan's driveway. They had already dropped everyone off, but they had all asked to come back to his house after, to end the year together. Sarah Maya's mom had dropped by too. So had Ravi and Marcus. Michelle and David, Olivia's parents. They all crammed into Ethan's small living room. The kids on the floor, adults on couches and chairs. Hot chocolate and cookies that Zara's dads had brought. Should we do something? Ravi asked. A toast, a speech. Let's just be here, Maya said. That's enough. So they were. Just present. Just together. Lucas started telling a story about something funny that happened at school. Zara interrupted with her own version. Maya corrected both of them. Olivia added details they'd all forgotten. The parents listened laughing, crying, marveling at these children who'd somehow become wise. Later, after everyone had left, after Maya had gone to bed, Ethan sat in his office. He opened his laptop. Looked at the analytics for the podcast. 4 million regular listeners now. 8 million downloads. Hundreds of thousands of comments and messages. But none of that mattered as much as the moment in his living room. The kids sprawled on his floor, the parents talking softly, the sense of family that had nothing to do with blood and everything to do with choice. He started to write, not for the podcast, just for himself. A reflection. Someone asked me recently, what's the secret to the Carpool Chronicles? And I realized there is no secret. It's just showing up, asking questions, listening to answers, creating a space where kids feel safe to be themselves. It happens in cars, at dinner tables during bedtime, anywhere we choose to be present, to really see our kids, to really hear them. That's the chronicle that matters, not the podcast, not the documentary, not the downloads or the awards. The connection, the trust, the miles we traveled together. Those are the miles that matter most. He saved the document, closed his laptop. Tomorrow another drive, another conversation, another chance to show up. That was enough. That was everything. 5 years later, Maya is 15 now, a sophomore in high school. She's captain of the debate team planning to study law someday. She still does the podcast occasionally when she has time between homework and soccer and friends. Zara is 14, a freshman as exuberantly verbose as ever. She's in theater, unsurprisingly. Ruby adores her. They still fight like siblings do, but it's the fighting that comes from love. Lucas is 16, a junior. He's joined the robotics team, made close friends, dated, and broken up with his first girlfriend. He talks about his dad less, but in deeper ways. Last month, he got his driver's license. Told Ethan it felt like closing one chapter and opening another. Olivia is 14, confident in both English and Spanish. She tutors younger immigrant kids, now helps them find their voices the way she found hers. She visits Honduras every summer, belongs fully to both worlds. Ethan is 42, still doing carpools, though less frequently, now that the kids can drive themselves places. Still recording episodes, though maybe once a month instead of twice a week. Still showing up. The Carpool Chronicles has become something bigger than any of them expected: school curricula, parenting courses, therapy resources. But at its core, it's still just conversations, still just listening. Ethan gets asked all the time, when will it end? His answer, when the kids want it to. They recorded a 5 years later episode last month. All 4 original kids crammed into the same car they started in, though now they barely fit. What stays with you? Ethan asked. From the beginning, from all of this. Maya, that my voice matters, that it always mattered. I just needed someone to hear it. So Zara, that being too much is better than being too little. That the right people want all of you, not a smaller version. Lucas, that grief doesn't have a timeline. That healing isn't linear. That you can carry loss and still build a life. My dad is still part of my story. He always will be. Olivia, that belonging is not one place, is not one language, is wherever you are seen and heard and loved. I belong everywhere I choose to show up fully. Ethan, that the smallest moments create the biggest bonds. That 15 minutes in a car can change a life. That listening is love made visible. So, Zara asked, 5 more years. As long as you want, Ethan confirmed. Forever, they said together. Because some things do last forever. Not in the same form, not unchanged, but in the ways that matter, in trust and love, in the choice to keep showing up forever is possible. The Carpool Chronicles taught millions of people how to talk to their kids. But it taught Ethan something simpler: how to be present, how to listen, how to create space for truth. That was worth everything. The miles that matter most aren't measured in distance. They're measured in connection. And by that metric, they traveled further than any of them could have imagined.